Hi everyone, I'm Jay Crew, and welcome to my Wolfenstein II Mein Leben run video on PS4. So, Mein Leben is the highest difficulty on this game, and I think it's been touted as one of the most difficult game trophies to achieve. It's pretty unforgiving with the damage you're able to take, and it has no save functionality, so if you die at all, you have to start completely over. It is definitely attainable though, and throughout this video, I'll be taking you through my gameplay and providing tips and pointers for how to complete the game on this difficulty. I do want to give credit to Creeper's Mein Leben commentary video. When I was completing this the first time, it was about a year and a half ago, his gameplay was primarily what I followed. And there are some key areas where I deviate and kind of do my own thing, and I'll explain those as we go through them. There are also several glitches that you can take advantage of in this game, but for various reasons, I only use one glitch in this video, and I'll explain that in more detail later on as well. Most of the cutscenes here I skip, mostly just to keep the time of the gameplay down. Some of them you can't skip, though, like this one at the beginning. Um, Probably the hardest part of completing Mein Leben is having to sit through this 10-minute long cutscene every single time you have to start over. Um, well, I guess that's not really the hardest part about Mein Leben, but it does get frustrating. And if you really commit yourself to getting this trophy or achievement, you will be watching it a lot. So just prepare yourself for that. So as this cutscene plays out, I'll give you some background on how I got into Mein Leben. And it was really kind of a slow burn situation. It wasn't something where I set out thinking, I'm going to go after this trophy. When I played the game initially, like I said, it was uh, about 2 years ago now when I started it. And I enjoyed the gameplay. I thought the game was a lot of fun. But Mein Leben seemed kind of intimidating. And uh, I tend to be kind of a platinum trophy hunter. And I always kind of go into every game thinking I want to complete up the platinum trophy for it. But this one especially seemed uh, obviously really difficult, and not being able to save. And there were certain areas of the game, even playing through it on normal, that are just difficult, like the courthouse scene and the rooftop scene in New York, where again, even on a normal difficulty, you're having to replay that multiple times the first time you play it, and you think, man, there's no way you could possibly do this in one single setting without being able to save it and play it on the highest difficulty. So as I'm playing through it, and I'm thinking, well, if I was going to go about doing a Mein Leben run, where would I even start? And so I started looking online at some videos, which is where I found Creeper's video. And really the trick to it is just getting a consistency down. And the best way to go about it, which is what I ended up doing, was practicing on the next lowest difficulty, which is Death Incarnate. And that's basically a Mein Leben difficulty, but having the save functionality. So you can set up manual saves at certain checkpoints, so you can practice those tough areas over and over to kind of get a consistency down for them. So the courthouse scene, you make a manual save. The end boss fight, you make a manual save. And you really just practice those areas over and over again until you get to a point where you're really confident enough in those to kind of put it all together into one big Mein Leben run. And that's what I did. And it was over a period of about 6 months where, I was kind of picking it up here and there, while, doing other things and playing other games. And I kind of go back to it now and then and just practice. And yeah, it really wasn't something where I committed myself to 100% all at once and said, I'm going to do this. It was really over about 6 months. And I ended up actually achieving the trophy in October of 2018. And I haven't touched the game since then. After I achieved that trophy, I put the game away and thought, I'm really proud of this and it's awesome that I did it, but that's kind of the end of it. And when I decided to revisit the game and put together a video on my gameplay, I was kind of surprised at how much I remembered of the original run, and kind of took the same strategy as I did originally, which was practice on Death Incarnate and kind of take those same problem areas and do them, a few times over and over, and then jumped into Mein Leben. And it still took me, I think this was the fifth try where I was successful with Mein Leben. The first two tries, I actually got all the way to the Ausmercer at the end before dying. And the third time, the game glitched out on me near the final act of the game, which was really frustrating. And the fourth time, after I picked it back up after that, I was just trying to get through it too quickly. I was frustrated because of the glitch that had happened and did not get very far. And this was actually the fifth time that I tried the Mein Leben run when I actually was able to complete it. So it takes a bit of luck, it takes a lot of skill, but most of it is just repetition and getting comfortable with those problem areas and knowing where guys are going to show up and being prepared for kind of the unexpected because um, no mind leave and run is interesting. The one thing that I've learned doing this as many times as I have is that no two times are ever the same. Guys will show up in different locations. The timing of guys who are patrolling will be slightly different. Um, and so you kind of have to get into a routine enough where uh, you expect, hopefully, them to act the way that you want them to and you expect them to, but if they don't, kind of having a backup plan in place and being able to handle those situations if things don't go the way that you plan. And I guarantee you, if you go through this as many times as you need to complete Mein Leben, um, it's not going to go exactly like you want it to every single time. So you'll notice that I selected the Fergus timeline, and it's actually really important when playing through Mein Leben. Aside from the obvious storyline ramifications of selecting Fergus, you also get access to a couple things that you don't get otherwise. The first of which is a large laser weapon, which makes the beginning of the game a lot easier. And you also get access in the second half of the game to the Battle Walker, which in turn gives you access to a buff for your health of 200%, which is really important for the second half of the game. So as you play through it, just make sure that you select the Fergus timeline. We're coming up on the end of the cutscene, and we'll get to some actual gameplay. I'll give you a couple tips before we get going into it. One is make sure that you're using the lean out function. You want to expose yourself as little as possible because it only takes a few hits for them to put you down in this difficulty. And that's especially true at the beginning of the game because you really don't have a lot of armor and health to speak of. And so just make sure that you're leaning out and, you know, do things where you're kind of checking and then dropping back behind the wall. Because even if you are leaning out and you sit there long enough for them to hit you, it'll be over before you know it. So make sure that you utilize the lean function. The other thing is make sure that you're putting enough ammo into these guys that you know that they're going to stay down. You're never going to have to worry about running out of ammo in this game. They give you a ton of it, and so you're never going to have a shortage of ammo. Um, and one guy right here at the beginning, I'm lucky that he didn't kill me because um, I shot him. I thought that he was dead. There's going to be three guys here. One is the guy who's just sitting there. This guy will come from over behind the wall, and there's another guy kind of to the right there that you can see. He starts shooting me, and he'll pop back up, and I'll shoot him, and I think that he's dead here, and so I kind of start moving. I collect the armor in the back, and he pops back up. And I thought for sure that he was dead the first time. So it's really important that you pump enough ammo into them, or that you make sure that they're dead before you start progressing. Um, because again, if you get to a point where you think somebody's dead, they pop back up, and you happen to be reloading, it's over before you know what happened. Um, so I'm going to go up here, hit the elevator button. This guy, I don't know if you can kill or not. He doesn't do anything, so you can just let him go or kill him. These guys can't hit you, so you want to pick up the armor in a locker and then just wait for set to turn off the traps, the electrical traps. Um, and the electrical traps are something that you want to make sure that you turn off. We'll get to those in a second, but you want to keep those off for the majority of this initial playthrough. So you're going to turn them back on right here, and this will kill the guy at the top. There's going to be another couple guys who come over. Sometimes this will be random. Sometimes the guy will come in at the top. More often than not, he'll be at the bottom, like he showed up for me here, and you just want to take him out uh, with the machine pistol. You're going to shoot the wall there because there's a guy behind that corner who's going to come out and get hit by the electrical traps, so you don't have to worry about shooting him or engaging with him. Um, you want to turn the trap off again here, and you're going to leave the trap off for the duration of the level, because you're going to want to make sure that you have access to the conveyor belt towards the end. And you won't have that if you leave the traps on. So as much as it is tempting to leave the traps on to help you out gameplay wise, you really want to leave those off. Um, you'll have two guys who come here, and the trick with that is just to let them come out a little bit into the hallway so that you can keep them together. You don't want those guys to separate, otherwise it becomes difficult and you're shooting at two different targets at the same time. So you want to make sure that those stay together. Um, this guy you can shoot as you come up here, and there are 4 or 5 guys down here that you want to take care of before you progress. So you want to stay up here behind the corner. It's the safest place that you can be before rolling down there. And there's a barrel that you can hit back there if there are guys who don't come up to start firing at you. But they'll kind of take position by where that guy is right now, behind that first pillar, or behind that second pillar back there by where that explodable barrel was. And then the one guy who's up there in that hallway, and then there's the last guy right behind there, and you can kind of peek out just enough to where your reticule turns red and you can hit that guy without him becoming an issue. Um, Sometimes if he happens to get away, oh, that guy wasn't dead either. So he was just kind of sitting back there. I hadn't actually seen that happen before this playthrough. So that was both scary and kind of funny at the same time, that he was just sitting there waiting for me to come around the corner. Uh, this guy usually will be coming up when you go down, and sometimes he's delayed, which causes a problem because he'll be kind of expecting you. So if he's delayed there, you just kind of want to sit there long enough for him to peek out around the corner, and then you can shoot him in the head. Um, when they reverse the conveyor belt, just shoot this guy here at the top. Make sure that he's dead. And then there's an explodable barrel right at the bottom of the conveyor belt. And if you time it right, you can actually hit both of those guys at the same time. And I just kind of missed it there by a split second, I think, to where it didn't hit that second guy. And I had to take him down with the machine pistol. But if you time it right, you can hit both of them at the same time. So you can reverse the conveyor belt here, and there'll be a guy on the left that you can just take out easily, and then progress all the way up here and hit this lever for the end of the level. And this is another cutscene, a relatively long cutscene that you can't skip. And again, between this one and the one at the beginning, you kind of just have to separate yourself from it. And the best advice that I can give, and what I did was, you know, turn it on, go do something else, distract yourself for a minute. Don't get bogged down in having to watch those cutscenes over and over again. The pressure of that is just not worth it. Um, so distract yourself as much as you can while those cutscenes are going on before you jump back into the actual gameplay. I sped up the video here just to reduce the time of the gameplay video, and so that you wouldn't have to sit through the entire cutscene while it actually played out. So you're welcome. As we get back to the gameplay here, you can grab that other machine pistol so that you can dual equip. And you really want to dual equip for the entirety of the game. There's never really a situation where you would want to go down to one weapon. And there are a lot of times in the game where you want to equip different weapons because it's advantageous to have a different weapon in each hand for uh, special circumstances or for different enemies that you're going to encounter at the same time. So I'm going to go through the duct and grab the hatchet there and walk through the duct here, take a right, and there's going to be a guy who walks up with a tutorial to do a silent takedown. You can skip this guy if you want to. There's a path on the left where you can kind of just jump up and skip him entirely, but um, if you like killing Nazis like I do, you can go ahead and just take him out like the game intends. Uh, Open up that duct and continue making your way through here and drop down through the ducts and take out this commander. You don't have to worry about being silent or stealthy in this section. Nobody's going to see you, so you can not have to worry about crouching there. Just make your way back into that duct. And around the corner, you're going to see the commander there kind of before you make your way around the corner back into the duct. He's going to come back this way. You're going to grab another hatchet here and just wait for him to reemerge under that walkway so that you can take him out with a hatchet throw. So he'll come up in just a second. Sometimes he makes his way over there a little faster than others, but he always goes to the same place. So once you take him out, you go back into the duct and come back around to this section where you can drop down and take this guy out silently. And then I try to get people's attention. I take that guy out and maybe one or two other guys if they're, you know, easily identifiable, but you really don't want to spend too much time out there in the open. So I make my way back here so that the guys funnel in from that newly opened door, and you can really just take them out in one section here without having to worry about getting surrounded or overwhelmed. And there'll be an audio cue once you've taken out all the guys here. It sounds kind of like a low bass sound. And that guy almost got me with that explosion. I was lucky I didn't die there too, actually. I don't think I'd ever been hit with that fire extinguisher before. So when he blew that up, I was really surprised. Um, but it took off half my health. And again, I'm lucky that it didn't kill me. But and pick up the hatchet. I try to pick up as many hatchets anyway after I throw them, because throughout the game, especially in the first half of the game, it's really important that you have hatchets on hand to dispatch guys silently, and that you don't alert commandos as you or commanders as you're going through the game. So just make sure that you pick those up as much as possible. Once you hit the door here, you can throw the grenade and open up that explosion in the floor. Pick up the hatchet on the right side here. Make sure that you have that before you go through. And then you can just shoot these guys as they're running here. They're not going to hurt you. Make sure you pick up the health here just to make sure that you're buffed a little bit. But then as you go through this section and through this duct, they're just going to kind of waste time. They can't get you in here. And they'll throw a couple grenades. Sometimes, if you're lucky, they'll take the commander out. I don't think he got killed in this playthrough, but it doesn't matter. You just kind of want to sit up here for about 10 seconds And you'll see the first guy run through, and then you'll see that guy run. And after he goes through, you'll have a completely clear shot to running to the lever and ending that section of the level. So if you're just patient for a second up there, you won't have any problems engaging with anybody down on this floor. And then you're going to go ahead and equip the Sturmgewehren and run back up the way you came, up that little staircase to the middle section of this so that you can get behind that guy and shoot him in the back. Um, and as long as you're fast enough, you won't have any problems getting around him. You want to make sure that you shoot those explodable barrels so that they don't shoot them coming up on here, because when you set yourself up behind these crates, you can pick guys off as they come through that doorway, but it's possible for them to shoot those barrels in back of you if you don't explode them first, and it can really hurt you. So just make sure that you blow those up before you start uh, this section. There'll be about 10 guys who come through here, and I pick up that second laser craft work just to make sure that I have enough ammo um, to be able to kill every enemy who comes through the doorway. And once it says the heavy weapon kills 10 out of 20, you know that you've killed everybody. So that you can pick up the second laser craft work to make sure that you have full ammo, blow through this door, and you can proceed on through the level. Go ahead and hit that lever. There's going to be a commander at the end of the staircase down here once this door opens. So you want to make sure that you crouch as you get kind of towards the end of the stairway. And as you come through here, you'll be able to see him. You want to take him out with a thrown hatchet. And then just make sure that you're crouching to the rest of this section, because there's another commander and there are a couple guys along the walkway here who can hear you if you don't crouch and you're not stealthy. So better safe than sorry, and just take this section a little more slowly. That guy there on the left is kind of looking out over the railing, and he won't see you as long as you're staying quiet and crouched. This guy you can take out with another thrown hatchet, and the commander is pretty much right above you at this point, but again, as long as you're crouching and you're silent, he won't hear you or do anything about it. And it's kind of scary. There's a big guy up here right at the top of the staircase, but again, he's looking out over the railing, and as long as you're staying crouched, he won't see or hear you. You can just sneak past him. You can take this guy out, and then you can get back up and go ahead and hit the lever and close the door, and you're safe and sound. These guys, there's going to be two guys here right at the beginning, and sometimes their placement changes depending on whatever kind of random algorithm the game decides to use. Most of the time they'll be right there so that you can hit them both relatively quickly. And then there's another guy along with that big robot dude who's there that you can take out with the laser gun. And then run back to the button there. And then two last guys in the level that you can take out. And that's it. That's the end of that first level. And again, now that you have the ability to get your armor up to the 200, and uh, you've progressed a little bit in the game to where you don't have to worry about one or two single shots taking you out. Uh, it gets not a lot easier, but it does get easier. You can go ahead and blast that door and then get into the duct here. I take this section by stealth also, and I'm not sure how much of that is necessary because there's not really a commander in this section. So if you get found out, or if somebody hears you or sees you, it's not the end of the world. You just want to be really careful about how you handle it. Um, but you can take that guy out with the thrown hatchet and then silently kill that guy. There's going to be two guys through the doorway up here, and sometimes they randomly hear me. I'm not sure what triggers it. Um, but again, if they happen to see or hear you, it's not the end of the world. But you can take those guys out relatively quickly and then come up the staircase. And there's going to be a guy who's walking towards you, and I kind of give him a little bit of a head start up here. So I start going a little bit more slowly so that the guy behind him doesn't see you kill him. And he'll kind of take it easy against the railing so that you can just walk up behind him and do a silent kill. And the last guy is through here, and you could just walk up behind him and kill him. And I always take the opportunity to refill the electrical weapon there, because again, there are certain sections in the game where you're going to use that periodically, and it's just a good idea to keep that with full ammo as much as you can while you have the opportunity to charge it. So when you go through here, again, you want to kind of stay quiet. Um, so I stay crouched for this section. There are going to be two guys through the doorway here. And I pick up the health just so I can get the overcharge kill. But you can take the one guy out. He won't see you at all. You can take the other guy out. There are a couple of guys standing down there on the floor below, and they'll say something like they, got suspicious, but they won't actually see or hear you or set off any alarms. So you can pick up the health that's sitting right there for the overcharged. Come up here and take out these two guys with a hatchet throw and a silent kill. And then when you come up the staircase, there's going to be a guy coming from the opposite direction that you can take out with a hatchet throw. And then a guy on the left that you can just take out. And as you make your way up here, you can drop down into that room with the commander and take him out. And equipping the electrical gun to blow the door open and then blowing up those barrels will automatically set the alarm off. This is the section where the first glitch you can utilize is, and you can run down there by where those guys are coming out, jump in the water, and kind of skip most of the rest of the level. And for whatever reason, when I was doing this the first time, I could not for the life of me get the hang of getting that glitch to work without getting killed in the process. And it was just too inconsistent for me to want to do that for a Mein Leben run. And there were times where I would do it and times where it just wouldn't work. And so I devised this strategy as kind of my go-to, which is extremely consistent. They can't hit you up here, even if they can hit you, but even if they end up hitting you, it doesn't do that much damage. They can't do any real damage to you while you're behind these crates. And they'll just keep coming in from that area, um, allowing you to pick them off one by one. And it's extremely safe. And like I said, it takes a little bit more time than utilizing that glitch, but for me, it was a lot more consistent than trying to get that glitch to work and not getting killed in the process of running down there with all those guys and jumping in the water and trying to get the glitch to work. So um, hopefully this will help some of you out if you're having issues with that part. Uh, Once the commander calls for help, there might be one more guy who comes down, um, but most of the time there won't be any. The final two guys will show up down here, which is why I park myself behind this wall, and they'll come out, and I screwed this up. My accuracy just wasn't there, and I missed him. And so when that happens, they'll run up and jump on that gun, and there's two of them. And usually they'll run up together, or you're lucky enough to hit them both while they're down on that lower level. But he got away from me, uh, which was frustrating there. But once all the guys are dead, then the commander will run down and you can just pick him off as he's coming down the walkway. So, uh, pretty easy solution to all of those guys that swarm at you from that alarm. Then you can make your way up the ladder here and proceed through the hallway and onto the next level. There is an electrical charge here before you exit. And again, it's a good idea to charge that up as much as you can when you have the opportunity. So I take the opportunity to charge that up before the exit level. You're going to get the first upgrade pretty quickly here. And it's important once you start getting those upgrades to upgrade your weapons in a particular order because of the way that the game is fashioned. It can be really advantageous to upgrade them in a particular way. So I'll take you through those as I pick up the upgrades. The first one that you're going to get, which is going to be in the armory, you're going to want to put a silencer on the machine pistol. Again, just because that's really important um, for that next level to be able to shoot the machine pistol without being found out. Um, so after you talk to Set, you'll go into the armory and you'll have to shoot this drone. Um, the easiest way to do that is to keep that electrical gun equipped and come down here and just blast it once with the electrical gun. It's a one-shot kill on the drones if you use that thing. Um, so I picked up that upgrade, and I'll equip that in a minute. Um, Once you finish talking to the NPCs here, you run over and talk to Anya. And then once you activate her, you can run back to the ammo depot, which is where Fergus is, and you can go ahead and continue with the level. So there you could see where I upgraded the machine pistol with the suppressor. And again, it's really important that you upgrade that first in order to progress through this next level efficiently. One thing to note too is with the machine pistol, it's possible to stealth, but you can't keep the trigger down, meaning you can't fire continuously, and even with the suppressor attached, it won't be completely silent. Guys will hear you. Um, so it's really important when you equip that to understand that if you can only shoot for a little bit at a time in order to stay silent. Otherwise, you can get yourself into quite a bit of trouble. So you'll come up here, and there'll be a guy up here on the right that you can take out with the suppressors. And then run immediately to your left up here to this second level. There's going to be a guy in that building crossing to the right, and you just kind of want to let him go for the most part. And he'll come back to the left. So you just want to park yourself here and wait for him to come back through that opening, and you can take him out with the suppressors. There's going to be two guys on that bottom floor who are talking right now, but they won't be able to hear you. So you can take him out without worrying about any kind of sound issues. The guy standing there will come back towards you, you can take him out with the hatchet, and then a guy down here on the left that you take out with another thrown hatchet. The trick to this is trying to stay completely silent so that those two commanders aren't alerted to your presence. So you can throw the hatchet there, and then you can go ahead and just shoot that guy because you don't have to worry about the commander getting alerted. So pick up as many hatchets here as you can from what you've thrown, and then make your way over to the edge of the building out onto the catwalk here, and you can see the commander down there. Shoot him in the head and then proceed up the catwalk onto that third level. Pick up the next upgrade here, and I use this to equip the nail gun, which is a heavier version of the machine pistol, and it makes it a little bit easier to stay silent because you can shoot one at a time. The drone will be down there that you can take out with the electrical gun, and then just make sure that you stay crouched as you progress through this next area. When you drop out of the building here, if you're not quiet about it, those guys will see you and it'll alert everybody faster than what you want to deal with them. So you can take them out silently. Again, you can notice that I'm just firing one shot at a time in order to make sure that they don't see me. Then you can make your way around there and kind of run as quickly as you can down into the subway. And the trick with that is just to run as fast as you can so that you can stay safe. And as soon as you pass that kind of wall area, you're in good shape. And there'll be 4 or 5 dogs down here that you want to take care of before you proceed. You just want to get yourself in this back corner so that you have a clear shot and they can't get behind you. And you can take them out one at a time. And once they're all dead, you can keep going down the subway here. And there'll be a guy coming from the right that you can take out with a hatchet. There's another guy over there to the right, but as long as you keep going, he won't be able to see or hear you. And stay crouched for this guy. You can take him out and then equip the electrical gun because there's going to be another big guy with some grenade launchers that's going to be up here. So you want to sprint up there and then take him out as soon as he drops down. And you won't have to worry about engaging him. You can just take him out right away.
See if there's some way to power up this old train.
There's armor there if you need it, and another upgrade.
Okay.
And I'll equip that one in a bit.
Let's find the controls and see.
Go ahead and hit the train controls here and then sprint all the way back. The more big guys will drop down in that section that you were just in, but as long as you run to the back of the train, they won't ever be able to get at you. So you just want to run through here as fast as possible and then hit the lever so that you can progress to the next level. So once you start proceeding again, you want to run up here because there's a guy right in the doorway that you want to make sure you get to in time. And some hatchets on the right you want to make sure you pick up. You can take this guy out with a thrown hatchet and then stay crouched. The trick to this part is trying to get through it completely silently because there's a commander up here with quite a few guys on the roof of this building. So there's a guy that will come across from the left. You can take him out with a couple shots. And there's a drone that's floating up here too. As long as you crouch and you keep moving, you can kind of avoid the drone as it flies by that wall. There's going to be a couple of guys right here through that doorway that you can take out. Again, just make sure that you're shooting one shot at a time so that they don't see you. And try and take that out. And I kind of screwed that up by not killing him with a headshot. But take those guys out, and then if they happen to see you like they did there, you could just get through it as fast as you can, kind of sprint up to that top floor, take out the commander, and then drop down. Before you take on the big robot here, you're going to want to make sure that you put that next upgrade on, which is the Sturmgewehr armor piercing, so that you can take this guy out with the assault rifles primarily. Um, if you don't equip the armor piercing, it's really difficult to take him out just with the assault rifles.
Come to test the old man's mettle.
So you want to let him get into that second doorway. Um, it gives you a much better vantage point to be able to shoot him. And as long as you stay kind of back here in this little room house thing, he can't hit you. And you're pretty safe just to lay into him as much as you can with the Sturmgeweers. And once you get to a point where you're running a little bit low on ammo, because you want to make sure you have enough ammo for the Sturmgeweers to get into that next section, I just switched to the laser craft work to finish him off. And then he'll drop a ton of armor, so if you need armor,
Feel like my gun
just make sure that you grab that before proceeding.
man walking.
And then you can run under here, and you're going to run up the stairs to the left and make your way around the corner here into the back where you can pick up another weapon upgrade, and you're going to put that on right away for the marksman's scope on the Sturmgeweers, and that will allow you to kind of fire uh, single shots at a time with the assault rifles, which is much more accurate than without the marksman scope. If you equip just one of the assault rifles, you can actually aim with the scope, but you're never really far enough away from anything that the scope is extremely useful, so I just keep the dual wielding on the entire time. So you're going to park up here and kind of look across the way there, and the trick to that is hitting the commander. And sometimes the commander will hide behind that wall and not come out. But you always want to take the commander out while you can if he's any kind of visible over there. And then you're going to have two more guys come out.
Your boy, Sonya.
And if you're lucky, the dog will come out too. Sometimes the dog gets stuck back there and you kind of have to proceed quietly, knowing that the dog is still waiting for you. But if you're lucky like that, he'll come out and you can just shoot him. And there's going to be one more guy who's going to come after you that you can take out. And then you're safe to proceed down the hallway here and up the stairs. And when you start coming up here, when you look across the hallway up here, you're going to see both of the last two guys here all the way down at the end that you can take out. And you can just wait for a second and he'll come back around. Now, the plan is to shoot them both down there before they come at you, but I missed them both. And so one guy came where I was able to hit him from there, and the other guy I kind of had to go looking for, which is not really the situation that you want to be in. So you just want to be careful around the corners here. There he is. And take him out carefully. The less you have to go searching for anybody in this mode, the better. So uh, I'm just running around looking for armor to cap myself out. You equip the laser craft work, and you're going to jump down here, and there's going to be a big guy who jumps up from there, and you can take him out pretty easily with the laser craft work, and then move on to the elevator shaft. This is the first really challenging part since the very beginning of the game, this loft scene, and even when you know what to do, it's challenging. It just takes a lot of practice and getting used to where the guys are spawning from. Um, when you come up here, as soon as the game lets you move around, you're going to run around to the corner to the right through that little doorway, and you're going to hop up, grab that upgrade, and then hop up on here in the very corner, and then kind of sit yourself down in this little hunkering spot. And guys will come up from this staircase And from the left here, where you can see that guy just came up. Oh man, he was really laying into me. I'm lucky that I didn't get more hurt there. And they'll come up on either side. The timing of it is really random, and the number of guys I've encountered seems to be random. So you just want to kind of position yourself like this where you can see both areas at once and then start shooting at whoever comes up. Um, the drones don't pose too much of a problem. They can't hurt you all that much. The real danger comes from the human NPCs, so you want to focus on those guys. If you get an opportunity to take out a drone easily and quickly, then you can take it. But you really don't want to focus too much on the drones and take your concentration away from the guys that come up. Um, Most of the time, they won't flank you on both sides as much as they do in this one. Usually, they kind of come up one at a time on either side, and it allows you a little bit more time to react. I use grenades here too in case you kind of get overwhelmed, or if you have guys coming up on both sides at the same time, where you don't feel like you can um, move your reticule quickly enough to kill them before they shoot you. I just throw a grenade, and even if it doesn't kill them, it will give you enough time to kind of react to it. And once that music starts playing and the helicopter comes in, you're pretty safe to go out and stock back up on ammo and armor. I did find out later on, um, it wasn't until I started looking at doing the video for this that there's a glitch that you can use down in that lower left-hand corner of the room. There are boxes that you can get behind and glitch out the game and kind of wait out the attack. And since I didn't know about that until close to when I was making the video, I didn't use it at all on my initial platinum. And I figured I was comfortable enough with being able to complete the room without using the glitch that it wasn't worth me using it this time around. So I went ahead and did the gameplay just uh, doing it regularly without using the glitch. So once you're done with that, you can take a deep breath because that's one of the tougher sections. And this next section is one of the easiest sections of the game because you can run down here, and this is the one glitch that I utilize in my gameplay. And once you get down into section F, you can get under the water and then glitch the game out and basically skip the entire level.
Grace, you read? Going fishing for that nuclear warhead now.
Got it. Keep me posted.
And take the time to charge the laser craft work. And then make your way through here. You won't see any enemies for a while, so you're pretty safe in this section.
That heat, the maddening end.
So when you get up to this platform,
Endured so gracefully.
you're going to step back and kind of sprint towards the ceiling and then vault over it like you're
You
kind of
couldn't vacuum too great to fill.
jumping over a fence. You're going to hold the button down and you're going to jump through the wall. And then you can kind of swim over on the side of the program. And then once you hit these tubes, kind of go underwater and then swim underneath the tubing, kind of underneath and between the tubing, into this room and hit the switch just to end the level. And then you can sprint down here into where the nuclear warhead is stored and end the level. So it saves you quite a bit of time, and there are a couple big guys down there that you don't have to engage with if you utilize that glitch.
Bring it to the old man.
And
I briefed him on the
it works pretty well, which is why I use it consistently. And like I said, it saves a little bit of time, so it's worth utilizing.
You okay?
Oh, let me look at you. A little pale. You have nausea? Any fever?
I'm fine. Never better.
Never better. Well, I need to take care of this. You need to rest.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Well, do me a favor. Before you die, go to Grace. She's at the helm. You know, Caroline's old girl.
Well, Caroline, I fucked
So
up.
when you go up to the helicopter to charge it,
I heard I tried
you
to
can
kill
go ahead
you.
and just sprint all the way up there.
Her.
And that's the reason that I take the time to charge the laser craft work, because you need a full charge to put into the helicopter, so it just makes more sense to get it done while
Right.
you've got a charging station right next to
Ready
you.
to fly like Grace asked me to.
So you can charge it up and then go to the other charging station here to fill it back up so that you can complete that uh, mission quest.
Chopper's fat and sassy. Should let Grace know.
And then as long as I'm here with the charging station, I just go ahead and recharge that fully so that I don't have to worry about that going forward. And then make your way back down to Grace so that you can complete this level.
The main man.
All set. Helicopter's good to
And
go.
as you're going through this next section of the game, you just want to make sure that you don't alert anyone or start sprinting so that you can get through this section unseen.
What have you done? This is no.
So as long as you don't do anything really weird here,
Papa Joe's
you can
all-American
just
diner.
walk without them worrying about setting off any alarms. You make your way all the way down to the diner here.
American diner. My kind of dive.
Was hast du heute gelernt, Peter? I don't know. Stuff? Practice your German, dear.
Oh,
You'll need it.
hello there, sir. Please,
Was denn
have a
für
seat at the counter.
Sachen?
Be right with you. Ma'am, what'll it be?
I want the chill.
We're about to close,
Oh,
unfortunately.
it's to go. We'll be quick. Let's see. I'll have the...
Blazkowicz. Speshy knows you're coming to attack the Overcommando, but he has no idea you bringing a damn atom bomb. You gotta break him the news.
Hello?
Come on, Peter. Let's go someplace else. But, Mom, we no buts.
Oh! Bitteschön.
Danke.
Have a good day, ma'am. You, one strawberry milkshake, please. Oh, I hope you don't have a fire back there to put out. If so, I'll come back another time.
So this is mainly just a long cutscene, but you do want to make sure that you give him the passport.
I recognize your face.
I'm not sure if that makes a difference or not, to be honest. I don't know if you don't give him the passport, if it affects anything or if it sets off an alarm, but
Oh,
I
vielen Dank.
always make sure to go ahead and give him the passport either way.
Hmm.
Plus, it completes it a little bit faster
Be on your way.
anyhow.
I love strawberry milkshake. It's perhaps my favorite American thing. So simple. Just milk and ice cream. The rest of the menu, however, I think you will need to address. I think it needs to be more German. Yes? Tell me, are you from here, John Smith? Huh? I read here that you operate out of Station 6. What is the location of Station 6. I'm unfamiliar with this station. Speak up.
Kommandant, Sie werden vom Oberkommando verlangt.
War das nicht Zeit? Trink grad noch meine Erdbeermilch.
Leider nicht, Kommandant. Das Oberkommando verlangt, Sie umgehend zu sehen.
In Ordnung, ich komme schon. Hm. Hm. Mein Gott. Oh mein Gott, das bist du. Das bist du! Blazkowicz, shut the fucking front
So once you have control again here, you're going to get to the front door and
door! Any more goddamn Nazis?
get to the next level of the game. So then this short cutscene will play out, and when the gameplay starts again, it'll drop you in a tunnel, and it will auto-equip the regular pistols, so you want to make sure you switch back to the machine pistols. And I had tried, when I was doing this initially, to get through the game with just the regular pistols because I thought it would be more stealthy. And I found that they give you just a lot less ammo with the regular pistols, so I was constantly having to worry about whether I had enough ammo for a particular section. So it was just easier to then focus on the machine pistols and use those throughout the entire game. And you do have to worry about, with the nail gun, making sure that you're doing the single fires instead of the burst fire in order to stay more stealthy. But that's a lot easier than having to worry about running out of ammo in any given area. So you're going to make your way through this tunnel, and when you come out on the other side of it, you'll drop down, and there's going to be a guy on the right side that you're going to want to take care of with a hatchet throw. And these guys, pretty much for the rest of the game, will have body armor on. So I try to kind of aim the hatchet throws towards the mid-torso so that it hits them in the leg, and that way you don't have to worry about the hatchet bouncing off of the body armor and not killing them in one hatchet throw. So you're going to come over here, and over to the left, you're going to vault up on this little railing thing, and then make sure you crouch, and you're going to drop down over the edge of it. Make sure you pick up that weapon upgrade behind you, and then you're just going to come up here, and you're going to stay to the right, and just make sure that you're staying along that railing, and then to the right side, you're following this white strip. You're basically just going to follow the white strip to the left, and then up that staircase to the right, and that guy won't ever see you. He's looking the other way, so as long as you stay crouched, you're good. And then the commander will be right up here at the top of the staircase to the left. So you're going to throw hatchet, kill him immediately, and then his dog, who's always going to be right next to him, just make sure you take care of them as fast as you can, and then throw the lever. And when you activate the train, you're going to hear that robot activate to the right, but it's going to deactivate as long as you stay crouched, so you don't have to worry about it. And then you're going to make your way down here. You're going to hop up on this little railing here and then sprint jump kind of sideways over on top of the train, and then activate the train to proceed. And then along with that robot, there's a guy that patrols up and down that walkway. You're just going to want to make sure that he is facing the other direction. Sometimes he's walking towards you. So just make sure that you kind of hang tight until you make sure that he's walking away before you proceed down that section. And then just stay stealthy here until you round that corner, and then you're free to move a little bit quicker. But those guys won't see you as long as you make your way pretty quickly there. And then drop down to below the carriage, and you can proceed without having to engage anybody down here. Make your way back up the ladder, and then there's going to be a robot over here. So you'll kind of want to stay to the left so that you can get behind it and do a tamper. And then there's going to be a big guy on the catwalk up there on that next level. You want to keep an eye on him because he'll walk down kind of along with you and then stop up here. And you want to make sure that you're kind of peeking out to see when he stops, because he's looking out this way, and then he'll turn around. So as soon as he turns around, you're going to be safe to continue. And then you can come up here, take out this next robot with a silent kill, and then keep going on. And the thing with the train is that each of these compartments is kind of independent of each other. So if you get yourself into a situation where you get seen or you get an alarm going off, then you just want to hurry up and try and get to the next train car so that it resets. Um, you're going to keep going to the right here, and you'll see that big guy on the left. You're going to go to the right and keep going crouched so that they don't hear you. And you'll come up on this guy who's going to be stopped up here on the left, but he's going to be looking the other direction. So you can just continue going through the train car. And then you're going to drop down up here and go to the lower level on the right, where there are going to be two robots that you're going to take out. It's really important to take out these robots before anything, because if you start shooting people up on that main floor, the robots will activate and they cause a lot of problems. And the robots, from my experience, are some of the most dangerous opponents in the game, because they move really, really fast. They'll like kind of teleport and they take a lot of damage. So if you can take those things out stealthily, that's the best situation. So you're going to take that guy out with a headshot around the corner, and then take those guys down really quickly in that room. And there's going to be two guys down here with shotguns, and their movements will change depending on whether they hear you coming or not. And a lot of times they'll kind of give you the runaround, and they can't do too much damage because they only have shotguns. So as long as you don't get too close to them, you can take them out with no problem. But in that run, it was pretty easy. They were both right there in the hallway. So you're going to pull that down, and you're going to pull it down. You're not going to pull it up, because you don't want to go blasting the train in there. You're going to want to do this stealthily. So you're going to pull the lever back towards you and then crouch right away, because the next commander up here, even though he's really far away, I found will cause problems if you're not stealthy. You're the entire section through this. So you're going to stay crouched, and you're going to make your way through this doorway. There's going to be a guy on the right that you can sneak past, and then you're going to, again, stick to the white line on the left. So you're just going to want to follow this white line all the way down so that the guys on the other end don't see you. And then you're going to kind of come back around and wait for the elevator to come down. And there is actually a way, once the elevator gets down here, that you can jump on the elevator and then run up the elevator rails without having to take the elevator up on its own. And it saves a little bit of time. And you come out on the other end of where that platform is up at the top. But I find that this, while it takes a little bit longer, is a little bit more consistent and a little bit safer than running up yourself. So that's why I run it through this way in the video. But you want to wait for the elevator to come down. Once it gets to pretty close to where it's going to land, make your way back up here and hop over. Stay stealthy, so you're going to hop up and over and then immediately crouch again, and then make your way up these stairs to where the elevator controls are. And you're going to pull the lever, and then just make sure that you stay crouched. Make your way back over to that kind of shield on the platform, and wait to get to the top of where the elevator is going to put you out at. And there's going to be one big guy down there who's going to be doing a patrol, kind of in a counterclockwise area down there, but he won't be able to see you. And once the commander distance gets to about 80, I peek up and just to make sure that he's not looking directly at me when I make my move up here. And I'll kind of peek up around that platform. And then you want to jump over here again, just making sure that you stay crouched as you jump over it in order to not alert anybody. And you're going to make your way through here, and that big guy is going to be on the right, and there's going to be this guy on the left. And you can take him out with a thrown hatchet. And if you're lucky, there's a guy coming through right there on the opposite side. You can throw the hatchet at him, take him out. And then the big guy on the right will still be looking the other direction, and you'll just get through it completely stealth, which is the best way to do it, because if they see you, you just basically want to sprint and run as fast as you can through that section. And then once you hit that doorway, then Commander will reset and you'll be golden. So you just want to make sure that you get through there as fast as possible if someone happens to see you. So you can silent kill that guy and then make your stealth way down the stairs. And again, hop over here, but make sure that you're stealth before you drop down so that they don't hear you. Make your way around the corner of the room behind the boxes here. And there's going to be a guy walking up that stairway. And you're going to want to wait for him to come back down so that you can pick him off while he's by himself. Because there are two other guys on the platform up there. So you can kind of see him a little bit through the little porthole thing in that bomb or whatever it is. And then he'll kind of start making a move to come back down the staircase. And then you want to get ready to make sure that you're moving on him when he comes back down. So he's going to go back the way he came from. And once he kind of gets back over there, you're going to move slowly and take him out with a hatchet throw. I tried to pick the hatchet up there, but it got lost somehow. And you're going to make your way kind of around the border of this room, around the corner here, to behind this robot. And you're going to take it out from behind. And then the commander is going to be all the way down that hallway to the left. So you're going to take him out and then take out the dog, which is next to him. And then you're going to go back the way you came, so you're basically just going to retrace your steps back around the border of the room, back to where you came from in the opposite corner. And when you get over here to kind of where those explosive barrels are, when you look down to the left, there's going to be another robot with explosive barrels right next to it. So you're going to shoot the barrels and blow up that robot so that he's not an issue. And you're going to take out the guys up here on the platform. And these guys are really random too. And I'm not sure what triggers, like, if they hear something or get suspicious, but a lot of times they'll be in different positions. So sometimes they'll be right at the top of the stairs and you can just hit them right away. Other times like this where they'll be searching because they thought they heard something on either side of the platform and you kind of just want to wait for them to come back up. I'm trying to draw them out a little bit with the machine gun fire to try and tempt them to come back up because I don't want to go looking for them. And the last thing that you want to do is start heading up there and get flanked because they could be on opposite sides of the platform. So you just want to try and make sure that you're being patient, wait for them to come back up, at least until one of them is down, and then you don't have to worry about getting flanked. But most of the time when one comes, then you'll see the other one is quick to follow. So here you're going to want to equip the lasercraft work, and I upgrade that here. And I do this a little bit differently too because I upgrade both the battery and it's like the supercharge. And the battery I do mainly for convenience purposes because it comes in really handy later in the game, and I don't use the upgrades for anything else. But you want to make sure that you equip that and the supercharge, and then keep the Sturmgewehr in your left hand. And then when the big guy comes up, when the door opens up, you want to make sure that the weapon is all the way charged up so that you can hit it once. If you're lucky, you'll take it out in one shot, but more often than not, I find that I have to shoot it twice with supercharge um, blasts, and it'll go down in two. So you're going to sprint up the stairs once it's dead, and four guys, 4 or 5, will follow you up the staircase that you just want to take out one at a time. Normally there's only 4, but sometimes an extra guy will follow you up. I don't know what he was doing. But you want to take them out after they follow you up the stairs, and then there are a couple other guys down here that I'll take out just to kind of clear my way a little bit more before I head down there. There's always a guy standing down there, like where that one robot was, and there's always going to be a guy standing down here under that little thing that you can take out, and then a third guy where I just shoot kind of over there. And once those 3 guys are dead, along with the 4 guys who followed you up the staircase, then you've got a really clear shot to head down without worrying about anybody else shooting you. So you can come down here to where the door opened up, grab any armor that you might need to fill yourself up before this next section, and then proceed down the hallway here. And then once you come up the stairs, there's going to be 2 scientists running away from you that you can just take out.
Yeah. Keep running, Nazis.
And then I switch back to the machine pistols because this section you're going to want to go back to stealth approach because there are 2 guys that
Where are you all going?
2 big guys that will kind of flank you, and you don't want that to happen. So once you get down here, you can take out that robot at the bottom of the stairs, and there's going to be another robot on the opposite side of the room. And the big guy is going to be right above you here, kind of moving back and forth along that walkway. So you just want to stay crouched and stealthy and take out this robot for safety's sake. And then go back the way you came under that stair, like under that walkway. Come back around and go through that door on the right. And you can bypass that big guy walking back and forth up there altogether. And as long as you have the machine pistols equipped, once you get past this doorway, you don't have to worry about him getting alerted. So you're going to come through here, and then once I'm through that doorway, I start going faster because that robot will drop down. You can just take him out before he has a chance to do anything. And then there's another big guy down here. But again, as long as you're using the machine pistols with the suppressors, the guy behind you won't get alerted. You can take him out easily and then continue on to the end of the level here.
Gun. Remember you showed me
So you're going to run up to the house
the one I met someone special? Well, I did.
and walk in here. Once you get into the house, if you go straight down to the basement, there's another upgrade, which I don't bother picking up because I don't use it. But if you want to, you can grab that in the basement and then come up here and activate this next section.
Who'd you call? I heard everything. Who in the hell'd you call? She's here.
So you can go ahead and put the Sturmgewehrs back on. You're going to be facing some robots, so having the Sturmgeweers with the armor piercing is really important.
Gotta disable these claws.
So once you release that claw there, you can kind of make your way up as fast as you can up this little makeshift stairway. You can grab the health there. The drones are going to circle. They don't do too much damage if they hit you, but you just want to make your way as fast as possible in order to keep their damage down. They get me a little bit there. But you knock that next claw off, and then immediately to your right, you're going to want to go down the staircase and kind of peek around this corner. There's going to be a robot and a big guy down here. And you're going to want to take the robot out, but you're not going to want to do anything with the big guy. And I've made that mistake where I've had a really clear shot on the big guy to where I can take them both out at the same time. But what happens is once you take that robot out, 4 other robots will come down the stairway. If you take out the big guy on the right, then robots will come down on either side and they'll flank you. But if you leave the big guy there, all 4 of the next set of robots will come down this staircase and you don't have to worry about any of them flanking you. So you want to make sure that you just leave him be. Once those 4 robots come down the staircase, then you're going to be free to take out this guy. And sometimes his positioning will change, but he'll always kind of be in that room somewhere. And then just very carefully, you're going to take him out. And that is it until you get to the courthouse scene, which is probably the most challenging section of the game. That courthouse section is difficult, even on a normal difficulty, let alone Mein Leben. And so you'll probably find yourself practicing that one more often than any other section in the game and just getting a real routine and consistency down for that one little piece of gameplay. I speed up this cutscene too, just to keep the video time down, because this is an unskippable cutscene as well. And this kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of rest up before the courthouse action begins. Again, at this point, you're kind of halfway through the game. At least once you get through the courthouse scene, you're at least halfway through the game. And like I said, you're going to want to practice the courthouse gameplay as much as possible because it's so difficult. Because you'll put about an hour and a half of gameplay in just to find yourself dying at the courthouse scene. So get yourself into a position where you're really comfortable and the gameplay is really consistent before you kind of move on and attempt a Mein Leben run. So the trick with this whole section is to park yourself in a corner of the room so that you can see guys coming in and nobody can get behind you. So as soon as you're allowed to move here, you're going to be able to hit the action button and break free. And you're going to have an opportunity to grab another machine pistol, so you're going to want to make sure you pick that up before you start sprinting, and you're going to sprint as fast as you can behind these boxes. Equip the dual wielding and shoot that guy before he has a chance to throw that grenade. They'll throw grenades periodically back here like that, so the only time you're going to want to get out from behind those crates is when you see or hear a grenade, and you're going to jump up as soon as you hear one come down and throw it back so that it can't hit you. Because if a grenade hits you, you're pretty much dead. Other than that, don't get up for anything. Stay parked behind these crates and just wait for guys to come and engage with you. And shoot those guys who try to throw grenades before they have a chance to throw them, because a lot of times you can hit them after they've activated the grenade, and when they go down, they'll blow other guys up, um, which is helpful. So you just want to stay parked behind here and take guys out as they come. And sometimes they're more aggressive than other times. Again, I'm not sure what causes the discrepancy in that. Just some weird random algorithm in the game. But they don't seem to be all that aggressive in this game. Gameplay playthrough. A lot of times they'll just come one right after the other, and you can take them out pretty quickly. In this one, they lose track of me pretty quickly. But you're pretty safe back here, so you just don't want to get yourself into a position where you're going out looking for guys. You just want to stay there. Because eventually they will come and allow themselves to be put down. And there's basically unlimited ammo here because there's an ammo crate right above you. So if you start getting low, you can just kind of pop your head up and refill your ammo without having to go all the way out. If you get yourself into a situation where you do actually get really hurt here, which can happen sometimes just because, if you run up the stairs, I kind of missed that guy, and I'll actually show you because at this point that hurt me enough that I got a little bit nervous. So you can run up the stairs here. You want to sprint as fast as you can because guys will be shooting at you the entire time. Take out that judge and then grab the armor that's up there, which is 100 piece of armor, which is huge. So you can do that if you really have to, but you don't want to do that unless you really feel like you have to, because you're putting yourself in a really vulnerable position by running up there. So you'll get to a point where she'll activate and two big guys will drop down. But you want to be careful because the regular guys won't stop coming. It just depends on how many you've killed. But they will keep coming while these big guys are attacking you too. So you want to be just cognizant of the fact that they could still be attacking you. They'll take that one guy out as he crosses up there. Now there's another guy that comes. And then the other big guy will come from behind these crates. And you just want to blast them as soon as you see him. And just keep shooting until he's dead. And then a dog will activate. So as soon as you hear the dog kind of growl, you can start shooting and take it out before it becomes an issue. And then sometimes that guy will be on the stairs and sometimes he won't be. It just kind of depends. He kind of caught me by surprise that time. But just be aware that he can be there on occasion. You can grab the health and the extra ammo. You can switch to the Sturmgewehren for a little bit more firepower here. And then take guys out. They'll come at you up the stairs. I'm a little bit more aggressive in this section, not waiting for them to come up and taking them out kind of while they're back down on that lower section. And you just kind of want to take out as many guys as you can here for about a minute or so. And sometimes a robot will come. There's 2 or 3 robots in this section that will activate. And sometimes one will come at you while you're still behind here, like that. And then if you can take one of those robots out while you're back there, that's best case. And then sprint to the other side of the hallway where you can set yourself up in this room. And this room, once you get here, you're in pretty good shape because it has multiple ammo chests and multiple armor suits that you can pick up if you get yourself into trouble. The other two robots will come at you, so you just want to be careful of those guys. And then just kind of set yourself up in the corner here to take these guys out. And again, I'm a little bit more aggressive in this section, not waiting for them to come up, because it can take them a really long time to come after you. So if you're just waiting, it's probably safer, but it's just taking a lot of time. So if you're careful about it and you react fast, you can kind of take these guys out from peeking up above that little corner there. But they can hit you from there too. So you have to be really careful because they can headshot you and do a lot of damage if you don't shoot them and take care of them quickly. Once all the guys are dead, then there are going to be three big guys with tanks on their back down here that you're going to want to activate. So you're going to want to shoot like that, and then you can run back up here to that safe section, and then look down over the railing, and they'll come up the staircase towards you, but as they come up the staircase, it gives you a really good opportunity to shoot them in the back in those gas tanks and just blow them up. And more likely than not, they'll activate one at a time. Sometimes you'll have two of them kind of aggro at once, but most of the time I had to, oh, except for that time that other guy aggroed. But most of the time I was having to aggro each one of those guys independently and run down and aggro and then run back up and aggro and then aggro again. Uh, but once two of them are dead, then you're in pretty good shape. You can take this guy out, and then that is the end of the section. And you can take a really deep breath and pat yourself on the back for making it halfway through Mein Leben and getting through probably the most difficult section of the game. I speed up this video too, again, just to keep the time of the gameplay video down. And once we get back to a point where you can start making decisions and moving around, and this is where you want to select the Battle Walker. So you have three different items that you can choose from. And when you select the Fergus timeline, you have access to the Battle Walker. And that's the one that you want to select. There are some sections where it makes accessibility a little bit more easy, and it also gives you availability to the 200% health buff, which is extremely useful in the second half of the game. So you want to make sure that's the one on the right, that you select that one and not the other two.
Blink once for this one, blink twice for the one in the middle, blink 3 times for that over there. Okay, Yingler, let's get to work. I will sedate you now.
See you soon.
So after you select that, you'll have an opportunity to test it out. You'll go through kind of like a mini tutorial here.
Now,
So you can pick up the Battle Walker and then
put it on.
go ahead and activate it and run through the little obstacle course here that they give you in order to get used to the controls of it. And then you come through here, there's another upgrade that you can pick up. And then drop down through the armory
Thank you.
obstacle course.
Take back.
Come back out here and there'll be a couple really short cutscenes with the NPCs that you interact with.
Cut it up there.
Vasquez! My friend! What a happy day! Welcome back to the land of the living.
Hey, welcome back and all that, Vasco. I'd love to pinch your cheeks and ruffle your hair, but we dropped this thing.
And it's interesting to note with the Battle Walker, there are a couple times where you activate it and I'll point them out later in the gameplay. But where you activate it and it kind of makes people suspicious. And even if someone says something like they heard you activate the Battle Walker, it's not necessary to panic. They really don't hear anything, and it doesn't activate anything. It's just kind of a weird gameplay thing that they put in there where somebody will say something that like they heard something suspicious that it doesn't actually do anything. And I try to get past Sigrun every single time, and it never works. But once you can finally get past her, then you can run up the stairs and go ahead and activate the 200% buff little mini objective here before you do anything else so that you can get that health buff right away. So talk to her, and then there's this little obstacle course that you run through in order to get past Set's electrical traps that he's activated. So make a run up there, and then just be careful when you're running through this because uh, you can get electrocuted and it will one shot kill you if you actually hit any of these invisible traps. So make your way through the obstacle course up to where this guy is located, being careful not to run into any traps, and then knock him out, deactivate the traps, and then you're free to run all the way back through the obstacle course without having to worry about getting electrocuted. So you can make your way back to Irina here, and that gives you the health buff. And even though it doesn't increase your health, you have access to be able to increase it now immediately. So you can go ahead and activate the next mission and go back to Manhattan. And you're going to take this little section. Well, it's not little. I guess you're going to take a lot of the next section stealthy. So you're going to crouch immediately as soon as you have access to moving around. So you're going to crouch, equip the machine pistols so that you're in stealth. And then once you drop down here, there's going to be a guy to the right that you can take out with a hatchet throw. And then another guy to the right here. And as you move through this, your health will steadily be dropping. So you want to just pick up as many health packs as you can as you go through this in order to keep your health up. And you're not going to have to worry about it. It gives you plenty of health. You know, you're not going to die from it. But as you see health packs on the ground, you're going to want to make sure that you pick them up. That last guy you can take out with the machine pistols and then continue to pick up these health packs before you drop down into that next section. Make sure you have as much health as you are able to get. The commander will be right here when you drop down, so make sure you take him out right away. And then two dogs that are sitting here. And then there's going to be a guy coming up on the stairs from the right. You're going to want to take him out immediately with a hatchet throw as quick as you can because he'll see you pretty quickly if you don't take him out as fast as possible. And then come all the way to the end of the room. There's going to be a guy down here that you can kill. And then my strategy for this part is trying to kill that guy who's also down on that lower level, and then kind of shooting down there to attract the other guys. There's two or three other guys in this section that you can attract with the machine pistols if you shoot down there. So I kind of make my way around here stealthily as these guys are coming back up. But as long as you're using the machine pistols and you're crouching, then they're not going to know where you are unless they see you. So that's why I tend to try and get them all down in that lower section so that you have a free shot to go ahead and just crouch and make your way down here. At this point, the other dog sees me, which aggroes these other guys, so I have to take them out. But usually that doesn't happen. So you can use the Battle Walker to jump up on there and then drop down into the bunker and activate it, and you can move on to the next section. And at this point, the radiation is a non-issue, so you don't have to worry about your health dropping. So once you pick up any kind of health kits at this point, it will increase to the 200% with the health buff from the Battle Walker. You know, load up on armor there. And then as you're crouching through this section, make sure you're kind of staying to the left side because there's a guy on the other side of the right wall who can kind of see you or hear you, and it'll aggro everyone in here if they get wind of you. So just make sure you're staying to the left. Use the Battle Walker to hop up on that second platform there, and then crouch over here and then silently headshot the commander first, and then that guy will come over to check things out. Another guy will come up from the south, so you take him out. And then there's a robot on the right side and another guy that will come up from under your platform. And sometimes it changes. Sometimes they'll come up on the right side like he does here. You can take him out. Sometimes he comes up on the left, but either way, he'll come up on one side or the other and you can take him out. So you can load up on ammo and health here and then sprint through the doorway sections. I tried to make it. Didn't quite make it, but at least I didn't get stuck in those things. I don't know if that's possible or not, but head over here, and then again, there's a hatchet and some ammo that you can pick up. And when you peek over this ledge here, there's a commander that's going to be coming right all the way down on that lower level. He's going to come to right where my reticules are. You're just going to wait for him to get over there, and then he'll stand completely still, and he'll just wait for you to headshot him, and you can take him out. And then these two guys just take out. They're easy. They don't see anything. And then just make your way kind of counterclockwise down this hallway, and you're going to be heading down towards that lower section where the commander was. You're going to go to the left here. There's a robot that you can take out and tamper and just silent kill. So make sure you take care of him, because that will activate once you get down there, and he'll come up from behind you. So you want to make sure that you just take it out silently while you have an opportunity. And this is interesting. This happens every single time where the two guys, I think they're the two guys that you take out on that middle platform, are having a conversation that's like a phantom conversation. And without fail, it happens every single time for me that they're still having that conversation even though they're already dead. But that's not anything to worry about. It won't cause any problems and it won't hurt anything. It's just weird. Sometimes there'll be a guy, I don't know what triggers it, just he's randomly up on this section sometimes. And if that happens, you can just take him out with a hatchet throw. Most of the time he's not here, he's down somewhere on the lower levels. But these two guys, and there's a big guy down on the very lower platform, their positioning will change almost every time. It's always different depending on the timing. So just proceed with caution in this part because there's always going to be two guys and the big guy, but you're not really going to know where they're at. So like him, he was just kind of standing there in the middle of the hallway. You take him out with a hatchet throw and just take care of him as fast as you can. And I'm again not sure at this point where the other guy is going to be, so I'm just kind of taking my time and being cautious. The big guy is always kind of down here in this section, walking back and forth. So just be careful that he's not looking at you when you turn that corner. Just take that a little bit carefully, and then once his back is to you, you can shoot him from behind and take care of him really quickly. And the other guy, if he's not already down here, will usually be on the other side of those gas tanks. So I kind of shoot the wall and I shoot the gas tanks to try and lure him out so I don't have to go after him. But he's he's kind of being ornery and won't come out. So I have to go looking for him, which again is not something that you want to do. But if you have to, just be careful about it and don't expose yourself around any corners. And there he is, hiding up there. So take him out, and then he's the last one. So you can run back up and hit the levers. There's going to be two that you have to activate in order to open that door down there. So you hit one and then run to the other side and hit the other one. There's going to be a big guy right on the inside of those doors when you open them up. So just get ready with the Sturmgewehr so that you can take him out. And he won't cause any problems as long as you're ready for him. And then just run down, and there are going to be two big robot dogs, which is why I equipped the laser craft work. And this is the first time where the battery upgrade comes in handy because you don't have to refill it every single time. But you just want to charge it up to where it's like the 50 kilowatts, and each one of those robot dogs goes down into laser shots. So once you take him out, the other one will come out from behind that second set of metal doors. And then once you've killed both of them, you run back and just charge up the laser craft work again and get it ready for the next time that you need it.
Like when I was little.
And then the next section you're going to take stealthily again, so you're going to equip the machine pistols and run through both sections of the metal door here. And those big robot dogs will drop tons of not ammo, armor if you need it. So make sure you grab that if you need it. Hit the elevator button. And then make sure that you're crouching right away, because the commander will hear you if you're not crouching in this section. So just make sure that you crouch in the elevator and make your way slowly through this section. I don't know that once you get past that little gateway if they can hear you anymore, but I usually tend to take this section slowly anyhow, just because it's a pain if you activate these guys trying to get out of here alive. So I just try and take it slow. There's a guy who's going to be coming down that little tiny staircase. You're going to take him out with a hatchet throw. He's going to be looking this way, but he's not going to be able to see you from this far back. So just throw a hatchet high enough that it kind of arcs and hits him. And then there's going to be another guy up here behind a pillar on the left, and you're going to be really careful because he can see you if you're not really careful about this. So you want to kind of get behind that pillar and then sneak out and wait for him to turn around and start walking. And once that happens, you can use the pillars as cover and kind of get behind him and be able to hatchet throw him without him getting alerted. There's another weapon upgrade here. Make sure you pick that up and then activate the battle walker. And here's, like I said, where they'll hear you activate the battle walker and kind of get suspicious, but it doesn't actually activate anything. So once you're up on this upper catwalk, kind of make your way around here. The commander is going to be right around this corner. So as soon as you turn this corner, you'll see him. Hatchet throw him real quick. And I make sure to pick up the hatchet since that is my only one left. I don't usually like being this low on hatchets. You always kind of want to have a couple in your inventory just in case you miss somebody or something happens and you can't pick it back up. But the commander down here will change positions sometimes. Sometimes he'll be in that spot in that little doorway. Other times he'll be standing in that larger doorway where the other guy was. It just kind of depends. But in any event, he's not difficult to take out. Just make sure you throw hatchet him fast and then take the other guy out with your machine pistols. I'm kind of looking around here for extra hatchets just in case, because again, I don't like having just one hatchet in my inventory, and that's what I was doing there. But you make your way back up here to where the commander was, and then grab the intel from the box. And as soon as you're available to, make sure that you're shooting these guys who open that door, and they'll all kind of come out and allow you to shoot them and then I throw a grenade just to make sure that I've gotten everybody in there, and then you're safe. Once everybody's dead in the doorway, safe to come down here and grab the gas mask. You can pick up whatever ammo and health you need to fill back up, and then hit the elevator button. And once that activates, little robots will come down, and the first two you can take out pretty easily. They'll drop down one at a time, one on your right here, and the other one will drop down kind of right in front of you. So you can take them out, and then after that one drops, it gets kind of hairy. So you want to make sure that you drop down and hide underneath this little section, this little metal part. And as long as you're leaning out and kind of peeking out from under this thing, you're super safe. The robots can't really hit you, and you can kind of take them out as you peek around the corner. And there'll be 4 or 5 robots that drop down that you have to take out. And they'll kind of make their way back and forth along that platform looking for you. And then this last one in this playthrough kind of gave me some trouble. He didn't want to come over on this side, so I had to kind of go looking for him, and go to the other side in order to get him. And usually that doesn't happen. Usually they give you an opportunity just to kind of sit there and pick them off. I try shooting the Storm Couriers just to try and lure him over, but he's not coming over far enough where I can get him. So I just peek up and take him out, which is kind of dangerous, but as long as there's only one, I felt pretty comfortable just standing up and taking him out. And that's the end of that level. So board the helicopter here, and there'll be a short cutscene. And then you want to get ready, because as soon as the cutscene is over, you're going to get attacked by 2 of those robot guys. So you just want to make sure that you're ready to shoot, because I think if you don't kill them right away, they'll actually shoot you and kill you.
We make a good team, you and I.
Oh, shit.
So once you get attacked, the one robot will be standing right in front of you. So as soon as you're able to, just go ahead and take him out, and then the second robot will drop down. So just make sure that you're ready for him too, and then you can go ahead and you're free to go. And then just head up here to activate the next level.
Grace! Grace!
This motherfucker don't waste ammo or break your idiot neck.
I got you in the New Orleans dossier.
I'm sorry. It's just that it took me hours to put her down. Okay, let's roll.
In other news, the Minister of Public Security, General Engel, has resolved to clean up the streets of America from, quote, all criminal and terrorist elements.
Der Terroranschlag auf Roswell war ein Weckruf für das amerikanische Volk. Wir sind bei nicht so sicher, wie wir glauben.
Later tonight, we interview Lady Helene.
So once you drop down into Louisiana, you're going to want to make sure that you sprint and jump over that swamp, because an alligator will get you if you happen to land even slightly in that water. So you want to make sure you jump all the way over that. You can grab the health packs in there and then use the battle walker to get on top of the roof here. Run to the end, and then you're going to use the battle walker a couple more times in order to get up here so that you can drop down into this section, and then just stay crouched. There'll be a guy up here, but he won't see you, so you're just going to come over here to the railing and kind of see that section that's a little jutted out, and you can drop down there. Just make sure you stay crouched, and then take out the big guy here with the machine pistols. And nobody's going to be able to get at you, so even though they aggro and the commanders get alerted, just run up the staircase and through the door, and it exits that section. And then you're going to take out the big robot dog with a couple supercharged shots with the laser gun. And then equip the Sturmgeweers again and drop down here. And you're going to kind of sprint through the building here to the right and get under the staircase so that you can use this as a peeking out point. And these guys are kind of random too. Sometimes they'll be more aggressive than others. Sometimes there'll be more guys than other times. It just kind of depends. And this time, um, they're a little bit more aggressive than they usually are, kind of running around more than they usually are. But you just kind of want to sit here and pick them off as they come through that doorway, and some of them will come like right at you. Some of them will just run back and forth, kind of between that further doorway that you see out there. But they'll all kind of hang out around that section to where you can just look out through there and pick them off one at a time. And again, the number of guys seems to be kind of random, but it'll give you an audio cue again, kind of that deep bass, letting you know that this section is free and there aren't any more guys out there. Now there's one guy still out there on the left, but I don't see anybody else. I think he's probably the last one. There's that deep bass audio cue. You can run up here and round out your health and armor if you need it. And then drop down through here. There aren't going to be any more enemies that spawn in this particular section. So you're just going to grab what ammo you can and kind of make your way through the buildings. Pick up a hatchet grenade, kind of load up on ammo while you have an opportunity. And then once you get through this doorway here, 4 or 5 guys are going to spawn coming at you from down by where that telephone pole is, or electrical pole. So you're, again, just kind of use the wall as cover and lean out and take these guys out. Some of them will use those little ledges as cover, and some of them will actually try and be aggressive and come through the doorway. So just be prepared to take them out as they're coming up, or take them out like when they're hiding out there. There was a guy hiding back there that I didn't see. So once all these guys are dead, you can make your way into the water and then swim through that bus. And there's going to be 4 guys and a big soldier up here. I try to take out as many of these guys as I can with a grenade throw. If you're lucky, you can hit all 4 of them, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So you can take out the rest with the Sturmgeweers and the big guy. Just take him out as quick as possible because he'll shoot into that bus and hurt you. So just make sure you're shooting and killing those guys as quickly as you can. And then once you make it into this building with the Battle Walker, make sure you equip the machine pistols and crouch again because you're going to want to take this stealthy. And the trick here is to take a couple guys out with the commander, the first commander, and then make your way to the other side of the building and then take out the other commander. But it didn't quite go as planned for me on this playthrough. So the commander's there, you take him out with his dog. There's going to be a guy on the right that you want to take out quickly. So you try and hatchet throw this guy. Somehow he got aggroed before I was expecting. Usually he's just standing there and you can throw the hatchet and kill him. But for whatever reason, he was suspicious and I wasn't expecting him to be walking towards me. So it took me a little by surprise. So if that happens, just make sure that you take out whatever guys you can on your way up to this section. Just run back here because there's no doorway on the side of you, and you can just use this as the guys come out. And this is kind of a plan B because, again, hopefully you've taken out both commanders by this point silently, and they're not able to call backup, and you can just take out guys as they come up and do it relatively leisurely, instead of having to worry about the commander getting alerted. The plan is still kind of the same. Once that second commander is taken out, you still want to run back to this little section and then shoot some shots with the Sturmgewehren to get everyone else's attention, and they'll just kind of run up into this hallway, allowing you to pick them off one at a time. So if this happens, you just want to be careful that you're not putting yourself out there before everybody's dead, because you can get surrounded pretty quickly. So once everyone is dead, the commander will start coming at you like he does there. And then once the commander is dead, once he starts actively coming towards you, you know that there isn't anybody else alive in this section. So there's also a weapon upgrade where you first come in. If you go to the left doorway, there's a weapon upgrade towards that back end corner down there. And again, I don't bother in this playthrough picking it up because I don't use it. But if you want to grab that, you can. And then go ahead and pick up the hatchet here and activate that crane. And make sure that your laser craftwork is charged up with the charging station there before you progress. And then you can run back up here and use the crane and get to the other side of the building.
William, we are moving on from the tower now. Mines are disabled, and Fergus is scouting ahead. Just had a big fight with the Nazis.
So you can make sure to keep the laser craftwork equipped on your right side, and then the Sturmgewehr on the other side. Because there's going to be a big guy that you can supercharge kill with the laser craftwork. So once the talking is done, then you'll kind of hear the big guy drop down and you can kind of hear his footsteps moving towards you. So you just want to use the wall as cover and peek out and then blast him with the supercharge, and it'll take him out. And then switch back to the Sturmgewehren and take out the 4 or 5 guys that activate once he's dead. And they'll kind of run back and forth, like from the left. Some of them will try to run to the right side. Some of them will come straight at you. So you just kind of want to sit here and wait for them to pop up, and you can take them down. And some of them will come at you both at the same time. But as long as you stay behind the wall, you're pretty safe. Just make sure that you don't peek out longer than you have to, because you're still, even though you're leaning out behind the wall, you're still vulnerable. I think there's still one guy left out there. Yeah, there he is. In a lot of sections in this run through, they were just not as aggressive as they usually are, which was interesting. But it just kind of depends. Sometimes they're more aggressive and sometimes they're not. So you can throw a grenade down there and blast your way out. You can refill grenades. Make sure that you have full grenade ammo there, and then run through the basement and up the stairs to the other side. And once you get to the hole in the wall, just run through here and sprint over to that opposite wall, and you can use the battle walker to jump up over it and run up the staircase on the right here, and on the second story, come back and use the hatchet to get through this little apartment thing and drop all the way down into the basement again to where you can just kind of crouch and get to this last section of the level. And there are going to be a couple of guys up here that you can take out if you want to. This is where Horton is kind of defending his base. And if you don't do anything, Horton and his guys will take them out. So you don't really have to actually kill any of the enemies here. But if you want to speed things along, you can kind of peek up and take out anybody who's up here. And they'll usually have their back to you because they're focused on the opposite building where Horton is located. So it's pretty safe. I didn't see anybody on this one, which is weird. Usually there's at least two guys who come over there, but you want to supercharge. Two big guys will drop down and come after you here. So once you go through the doorway, one big guy will drop right in front of you, so you can take him out with a supercharge. And then the other guy will drop from the left. And so you kind of want to drop back a little bit and give yourself time to supercharge another shot. And he's going to come right through the doorway, and you can pick him off from underneath that little ledge there. And then that's it. So you can head up the ladder and exit the level. And then this next section, you're going to be riding one of those big robot dogs. So it's going to drop you right onto that. And the trick with that, what I've found I've had the most success with, is kind of moving back and forth with the dog while the fire is going. And as long as you're physically moving the dog to the left and right, you're able to avoid a lot of the shots that the guys are making at you from, the other side. So you kind of just keep the fire going and kind of move back and forth to the left and right in order to keep your kind of your safety up. And when you round that corner, you can use this little pole thing as kind of a defense shield. I should have stayed back there behind it probably a little bit longer than I did, because you can kind of sit back there and use it as cover before you come out. And there's going to be that big guy on the right-hand side, and then other guys, little smaller guys on the left and right, and then other guys will drop down behind you. So before you go into this section, I usually kind of just turn around and make sure that they're all dead so that they can't follow you in here. And there's going to be another big guy down there that you can see shooting at me, and another guy on the right. So you kind of just want to move around the crates here, and then the rest of the guys are going to be coming out from inside that warehouse. And you just want to make sure that you're always kind of staying not in front of that doorway, but just kind of to the side, and then moving back and forth from the left to the right as guys try and come at you. And you can take everybody out from this really easily with the dog. It's possible to do if the dog happens to get ruined and you have to get off the dog, but it's not preferable, and it takes a lot longer to do it on foot than if you have the fire breathing capability here. So if you're able to get through this section with the dog, that's ideal. And then you just kind of want to keep flame throwing in there until the first wave of guys stops. And they'll come on both that ground floor and from the catwalk above. So you just want to make sure that you're doing that. And then once they're pretty much dead, then you can take out that guy on the upper floor on the left. And that will activate a second wave of guys who come. And you just kind of want to sit here until the second wave is finished. And it's built kind of like a circular staircase. So they'll all be coming from the left-hand side, and there'll be explosive barrels and crates through here, and you just want to make sure that you're blowing those up with the flamethrower while you can, because if you don't, they will when you get down there, and it'll hurt you. So just make sure that you're exploding any of those while you have the opportunity before the enemies can do it on you. And you just kind of make your way slowly around the corners here, killing all these guys, moving quickly back and forth to make sure that you don't stay out vulnerable for too long. Focusing on both the lower floors and the upper floors. And eventually you'll get to a point where the waves just stop coming and there won't be any more guys that you can kill. And then you can get off the dog and hop up on these crates here and through the window. And you're going to go up through this section as fast as you can and sprint across this catwalk here. And there might be two guys. Sometimes they're down there and sometimes they're not. But if they are, you just want to take them out and then drop all the way down through these sections in the floor down to this basement level. And there's health and armor down here. And here is where I upgrade the shock hammer. I put both the rotor and the ricochet on here. Both of those upgrades are really good. The rotor is basically a damage upgrade, and the ricochet is awesome because it'll bounce off walls and hit guys even if you don't hit them directly, which makes it especially useful in hallways and stuff. So there'll be 2 or 3 guys around this corner that you can hit along with this big guy. So you can take him out with the shock hammers. And once they're all dead, you can put the machine pistols back on and go into stealth mode through the sewer system here. There's going to be one guy who comes up right there that you can hatchet throw kill. And then another guy who appears all the way at the end of this little walkway thing. So you can hatchet throw him. If he ends up walking away before you have a chance to throw it, then you can just hatchet throw him in the back because he doesn't move that fast and he won't ever see you. So once you round this corner, the commander will be down here. So you just keep moving along this walkway until you see the commander, and then you can take him out. And then drop down into the sewer pipe and swim. There's going to be one guy who's walking away from you in the sewer system here to the right. So you just take him out and then equip your Sturmgewehrs. Once you round the corner up here, there are going to be 3 guys up on a ledge above you. One guy is going to be standing right there, so you want to take him out. It'll activate the other 2, and they'll kind of pop up through that little lower thing. You can kind of see their flashlight and him pop his head out there. And that's one. There's going to be one more guy who comes, and he'll either show up on the left or the right. And then once all 3 of those guys are dead, then you're good to go. And you can make your way up the ladder and proceed up through the apartment building here. And that's the end of this section of the level.
Anya. Come in, Anya. Do you read?
William, I read you.
What's happening? You okay there, darling?
I'm doing fine. I'm trying to regroup with Fergus.
So there'll be a massive robot down here. Make sure you equip your machine pistols and stay crouched, because if you don't crouch, it can see you and it'll shoot like rocket missiles and kill you up here. So you just want to peek out the corner while you're crouched until it passes that little thing and it can't see you. You can drop down here and then sprint and kill this guy and make your way through the tunnel before that huge robot has a chance to see you. You can grab the health and armor if you need it there, and charge up your laser craft work. This is a safe spot before you continue on. And then you can swim through the little sewer pipe here. And then once you get to the other side here, you're going to round a corner and there's going to be more health lying on the ground that you can pick up and top off your health so that you have full health and armor. And make your way up through the sewers, and there's going to be a couple guys running from you. You can sprint. The commander gets aggroed either way, so it doesn't matter. And these guys won't ever attack you, so you just can take him out. Make your way through this building, and there's going to be a huge guy kind of up on a car or something over there that you can see. You can go ahead and take him out, and then there's going to be another big guy that comes at you in the little courtyard here, and 3 other normal soldiers who come through the doorway. And I've noticed that sometimes one soldier will run kind of down through the courtyard to the other side of the house, so you have to be careful that you don't get flanked by the normal soldiers here. But most of the time, all 3 of them will come in like they do here, and you just kind of have to wait for them to come through there and then just pick them off. So once those 3 guys are dead, and the other main soldier is down, the big guy, you can pick up that weapon upgrade right there, and then you're safe to proceed through the section. There aren't any more guys over here until you get to this other building. So once you run up this ramp, there's one guy who runs in there that you can kill, and then they'll all start kind of coming down from that second level at you. And there's going to be 4 or 5 guys who come down before the commander will start running at you. This time was super weird for me too. And then there's a staircase in there that they'll throw the grenades from. I usually just run because every time they throw a grenade, then they'll come out after you. So I just run over there and then shoot them as they come out the doorway. This time was really weird though, because more guys came out in this initial wave than I was expecting, because normally you kill 4 guys and then the commander comes down. This time I killed 5 guys, I think, and the commander comes down. So I take the commander out. And then you kind of make your way up there, except there was another guy that came down, which never happens. That has never happened to me before, and it really took me by surprise. And he was shooting me in the back, and I'm really lucky that I didn't die there, because he took off, as you can see, all my armor and had like 50 health. And so I run back and I grab these little 2 pieces of armor just to give myself a little buffer. But at this point, I didn't know what to expect because that had never happened in that sequence before. So I wasn't sure if more guys were going to come out from the first wave or what was going on exactly. Normally that doesn't happen. But at any rate, you want to get to this second level here and then activate the battle walker up to the 3rd level, and you can see another guy kind of walking through. And once he's dead, you can get back through the doorway, and this is where you can take out the second wave of guys. Like the first wave, they'll just kind of start coming from that second level down through that little blown out section of wall. Again, it was weird because normally they'll just come down aggressively, and I wasn't sure how many guys to expect here. So normally there's 3 after you kill the guy walking through the doorway. But I take it really slow here because I didn't want to get ambushed again from the back, especially with limited armor and health this time around. So normally after you kill those 3 guys, you're just good to go. But I'm really being cautious here in terms of not wanting to be ambushed. There's also a commander's dog up here in this section that you have to be careful about because he'll usually come after you. You can hear him bark before he gets to you, but just make sure that he's taken care of before you proceed. Sometimes he's not there, but he usually is. And then you can come up to that third level, and once you get through this doorway, there's going to be one guy who is coming at you strong, and then just kind of peek out between this doorway and the other guy will be here. Once those two guys are taken care of, then you're good to go, and you can run to the level exit here. So I was really relieved to be done with that part because that had not gone the way I was expecting at all. And again, that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning, where you kind of have to be expecting the unexpected and just be prepared for things not to go the way that you want them to. Because as many times as I played this, that was the first time that had ever happened to me, so it was just pretty strange. And this is the last section of gameplay that I speed up, again, just to keep the video time down. But once you run through here and you give them the correct lines, it'll start that short little cutscene and Adolf Hitler diatribe. And this next section, I've always had an issue with. I don't know why. It's a difficult section, but I've always had issues with it and having it go the way I want it to. You want it to be as stealthy as possible, but a lot of times it doesn't go that way. And for me, in this playthrough, it doesn't go that way. But you want to try and get through it as stealthily as possible. So you come up here and you activate that, which will put you into the gameplay for the next section here. You can pick up all the food that you can in this little room and equip your machine pistols to go into stealth mode. And crouch and go through the door. There's going to be a guy right out here to the right that you can hatchet throw and take care of. And then you're going to go through this last door on the right. There's going to be another guy with his back to you that you can take out. And a weapon upgrade here that you can pick up. And I go ahead for the last little couple weapon upgrades, putting on the extra magazine for the Sturmgeweers and the shock hammers, just to give myself some extra ammo with those guns, because those are the only other guns that I'm going to be using for the remainder of the game. So you're going to throw one hatchet guy at, hopefully you hit the guy on the right with the hatchet throw, and then you can stealth kill the guy right in front of you. I missed him there, but it didn't really cause any problems. And then you come down the stairs here, and the commander is going to be right inside this door that you can take out. And there's going to be armor here if you need it. And then go back up. I was looking for the hatchet that I had missed that guy with. It landed somewhere over here. And you're going to go through these doors, and here's where it's really tricky, because you're going to stay to the left here. There's going to be a big guy that comes from the left to the right. You're going to want to make sure that he doesn't see you. And this was weird too, because normally he's faster than that. Normally he's already walking by, but for some reason he was delayed. You want to take this guy out with one shot if you can. And then I shoot the monitor so that the big guy comes back towards me so that I can take him out. And so you can shoot him in the gas tank and make sure that he's down. And then just stay crouched back over here, because everybody will get suspicious, but they won't actually see you. And they'll kind of look around for a minute, and then they'll go back to their business. So you just want to just kind of sit tight and wait until you hear the little crackle of the signal detected thing, which is your cue that they're going back to their normal rotations. And you can hear one of those robot guys activate, and that's where it gets tricky, because the robot positioning is different every single playthrough. He'll never be in the same spot twice. Sometimes he'll be looking at you, sometimes his back will be turned towards you, but he's really dangerous because he'll spot you immediately. And if he does, then it sets off the alarm trigger and you have to go into defensive mode. If you're lucky, you can take the robot out without it seeing you, and then you can proceed through the level stealthily and try and get through here without being seen and the commanders getting aggroed. But at any rate, there's going to be two more guys out here, and their positioning changes too. That guy went back to that computer that I blew up, so you take him out. So there's going to be one other guy in here along with the robot. So I'm looking around for the robot, and he's standing right there looking in this direction, which is unfortunate. So I try and take him out, but he's too fast, which sets off the alarm. And so when that happens, you just want to retreat back through to where that big doorway is and just shoot guys and robots and dogs as they come in. And there's going to be 2 or 3 dogs that will come at you. There's going to be multiple soldiers, regular soldiers. There's probably going to be 2 big guys who come at you. So it's going to be a full force of like battalion that come after you in this section when the alarm goes off. But you're really protected back here. Nothing can hurt you as long as you're staying behind this wall and kind of leaning out. And you just want to pick guys off as they come into view. And between the armor that they put back there and the robots and the big guys that you can shoot for armor, you're really not going to be hurting for health or armor in this section, even if you do get hurt a little bit. So it's not the end of the world if the alarm happens to go off. You just want to be able to contain it in this section as much as you can. And again, like with the other sections, once everyone is dead, then the commander will come out and start running towards you, and you can take the commander out. And you just want to make sure that you take care of everybody else before that happens so that you can continue on with the level. So at this point, no more guys are coming, but the commander isn't coming either, which means that there are guys who aren't being aggressive back there for whatever reason. And again, this just seemed to be this playthrough where I was having to go out after people more than I normally do, which made me really nervous because you really don't want to start going after guys if you don't have to. You want them to come to you. But it was just not working out in this run. So I'm being really careful here and trying to kind of take my time, hoping that more guys will show up that I can just take out. And I'm trying to lure the commander out there because he comes down from that long corridor back there, but that wasn't working either. So I see a couple guys here peeking out from this wall, not doing anything, just standing there. So really carefully, I try and shoot at them. And then even after killing that one guy, the other dude still doesn't come out. So I have to go after him again. So then I take him down. And then at that point, it looks like the commander is coming after me. So just take him out from down the hallway. And then once the commander is dead, everything kind of goes back to normal. Guys are a little bit more suspicious, so you still have to be careful because it's not like you didn't set the alarm off at all. But the rotations of guys will go back to the way they were before the alarm got set off. So you want to stay crouched and make your way kind of slowly through this part. There'll be 2 of these big guys kind of circling this next hallway. So as you hear this guy's footsteps, he'll go from the right to the left, and you just kind of want to peek out enough to where you see him get past that pillar, and then you can kind of stay crouched and continue on past him, sneaking so that he doesn't see you. And then hopefully you can take this guy out before he sees you. So you take him out. Now, normally, if you don't set the alarm off, the commander is going to be through that doorway on the left with his dog. So you can sneak up there, take him out with a headshot along with the dog, and then continue on and have it be completely stealth, which is the ideal situation you want to be in. But since the commander's not there anymore, you just make your way straight down this hallway, go through the door on the left, and there are going to be 3 scientists down here in this little doorway. Now, they're a little bit suspicious already because the alarm went off. So sometimes you can hit that first guy without being seen. And that's best case scenario too, because then you can still sneak through that. Once they're alerted, you just want to sprint as fast as you can through that section, killing everything in your path, and then take these guys out when you get through this hallway. Run down here to the left to the little space pod thingy. And just be careful because robots will follow you in here. So you just want to kind of keep your eye on the doorway while this thing gets ready so that you can activate it and make sure that they don't shoot you in the back. But then once this thing is activated, then you can get down to the surface and get to the next level. But I've always had a problem with that section for whatever reason. It just doesn't go the way I want it to, hardly ever. And I end up having to improvise trying to get through there alive.
Navigationssysteme beschädigt. Nicht. Notfallausruf eingeleitet. Landung in T-3, 2, 1.
Once you get down to the surface, you have to worry about keeping your coolant in your suit so that you don't burn up. And you do that by refilling it like coolant stations. So you just want to sprint across the surface here, drop down to this little catwalk. And there's going to be one of those huge robots down here. And you just kind of want to get down to this first cooling station and wait for that big robot to turn around and start moving the other direction. So as soon as it stops moving, I fill up on my coolant to make sure that I have enough to get to the other end of the walkway. And then once it starts moving again, you can start moving behind it. It won't see you at all. So you don't have to worry about staying crouched until you get right behind it. And then you just kind of want to stay enough behind it so that you're sneaking past it without it seeing you, so that you can get to this doorway on the left-hand side here. And this part is really tricky. You want to come right up to the crates here. There's going to be 2 guys. One of them is going to be patrolling, and you can kind of see him on the right, and you just want to peek up enough so that you want to make sure that he's moving away from you before you move out from behind the crates down into the staircase here through the tunnel. But as long as you're careful about it, he won't see you. If he does see you, you just want to sprint down here anyway, and that little duct is a great place to hide and take guys out from if they happen to be alerted. But if you're quick about it, that won't happen. You can come out here and take out the commander. There's going to be one other guy with his back to you here that you can take out. And then those are the only 2 guys that you have to worry about in this little section here. So I'm filling up on health packs and armor here, which I desperately need. So you can grab those at the end and then come up here to the ladder, and there's going to be another big, huge armor thing that you can pick up that I use to fill out my armor with at the top of the ladder. And then stay crouched. There's going to be a big guy patrolling this section out here, so you're going to come right out, and don't worry about that robot on the left because it's not going to do anything. You're going to come up the stairs here, and then the big guy is going to be around the corner to the right. So he's going to be patrolling in a clockwise section around the staircase here. So just wait until he starts moving down that way, and then you're going to go back the other way. So you're going to take a left, and you're going to go all the way up the staircase here. And he'll be complaining about being too hot and needing coolant, but you're going to be fine. You've got plenty of coolant, not to worry about it through this section. And I kind of take a different path here in order to kind of line the people up that I have to take out. So I go around a loop, and there's a way that you can kind of skip some of this. So I'm kind of taking the long way around here. But I do that in order to make sure that all of the enemies are in front of me instead of coming up from behind me. So during this cooling station at the end of the walkway here, I fill up finally, and that will give me enough coolant to make it through the end of the section. And then I'm going to come up, and I'm going to go to the right up this staircase, and I'm going to make my way behind this little platform thing, and you'll be able to see a guy towards the end through the crack in those little whatever they are. Once he starts moving away, you can kind of walk quickly on top of here, and then you can take him out silently. There's going to be another guy on the left down the staircase who doesn't see you, and another guy coming down the staircase. You can take him out. I was surprised that he still didn't go down. He was quite a trooper. But there's going to be that guy along with the commander there. Once you start sprinting, the dog will crash out, and as soon as you run into the building, everything becomes moot, so you don't have to worry about them coming in after you. Then you're going to go back into stealth mode here. And there's a robot here that I take out with a tamper to make sure that he is a non-issue. And you're going to just make your way up the staircase. There's going to be another coolant station that you can fill up just to make sure that you have full coolant before continuing on. And then as you make your way around to the right, continue. There's going to be a guy up on that platform that you take out with a hatchet throw. And then you can use the battle walker to get up to that platform. There's going to be a big guy patrolling kind of out there, like to the right past that wall, and another guy up here at the very top of the staircase around this corner. So you want to distract this guy so that he moves past you. So you're going to shoot once with the machine pistol, get him walking towards where your shot landed on those crates so that you can shoot him from the back. And then you're going to use the battle walker to hop up here and move along these pipes and into the building. And then attach your Sturmgeweers. There's going to be 3 or 4 guys along with a little metal dog who comes at you. So just make sure you take him out, and the 2 or 3 other guys who come at you from that left side. I blow these up just to hurry that up a little bit. And those little dogs will drop a ton of ammo too, or not ammo, but armor if you need it. And then make your way up to the elevator. And then you can run down the hallway here once you get out of the elevator, and there's going to be a room with 3 scientists in here. As soon as you open up the door, there's going to be a scientist on the left. You can go ahead and take him out with a headshot. And then the other 2 scientists will come from the right. So you just kind of want to sit here, wait for them to make their way into the doorway so that you can shoot them. And then once all 3 of those guys are dead, then you can continue out through the next door. This next section, there's going to be a long walkway with a bunch of those robots. As long as you sprint, the robots won't activate. So you just want to make sure that you're sprinting the entire way down the walkway onto the little conveyor belt here. You're going to see 3 sections with guys. So you're going to take out the barrel on the right and then the barrel in the middle. And then there's going to be a guy on the right here that you're going to take out. And then another guy right on the left who's shooting at you from up above that ledge there. So the positioning of those guys never changes, so you just want to take out the barrels in that order and then take out the guy on the right and the left as fast as you can. And then you're going to crouch and attach the machine pistols and do this next part stealthily. There's going to be that guy up on the walkway. He's never going to see you, so you can just let him go for the time being. And then another guy up here that you want to take out with 2 hatchet throws. Once you get to the Venus section, you have to kill these guys with 2 hatchets instead of 1. So take him out. There's going to be another guy down here sitting on a bench that I take out with a headshot. And then keep making your way up to the second level. And there's going to be one guy kind of at the top here outside this room, and then another guy inside the room. So once you see the guy come up and stand in front of the doorway, then you can make your way around and kill him. And then take out the guy inside the room. And then there's going to be the guy who was walking along that walkway when you first entered the section. He's standing over there to the left. So you're going to take him out with a hatchet throw. And then the commander is going to be behind you in that next room. So you're going to take him out. And there's going to be 2 guys in that next section, kind of behind those big bombs. So you're going to sneak around to the right side of the room here. And they won't cause any problems. You can kind of sneak up behind them here, take out the further guy, and then take out the closer guy. And then just keep crouching. The next commander is going to be around to the right, just on the next level here. There aren't going to be any more guys. It's just the commander. So as long as the commander doesn't get alerted, then you're pretty safe here. So he's going to be up here down that corridor, so you just take him out. And you're in good shape to get on this next elevator up to the next section. And there's going to be 3 guys in this next room. The first guy is going to be on your right, pretty close to you. So you kind of want to get down and lean out and take that guy out. And then the other 2 guys are going to be down the hallway a bit, kind of standing next to each other. So you can just shoot with the machine pistols and take both of them out at the same time. And once you go through this next doorway, it's a little bit tricky. You want to be stealthy at first. So once the door opens, you're going to go straight forward and kind of hop up onto that platform there right in front of you. You're going to shoot that ball thing. And then as soon as you start shooting, you're going to sprint as fast as you can into it so that you can duck down into the passage there. And then make your way to the end of the level. And as long as you move quickly, nobody's going to be able to hurt you too much. You just want to move as fast as you can, because it can be dangerous running out there because the guys are all over that room. And then you're coming up on the last little section of the game. There's going to be one little kind of side mission that you have to do before going to the Ostmercer, which is the very last level of the game, where you have to find Fergus's arm. And again, it's kind of one of those sections where it just allows you to kind of take a little bit of a breather and a little bit of a break and kind of de-stress and get ready for the last little section of the game here.
You like that, bird? Best be on your way now. Our ride's here.
So once you blow out the candles and it allows you to move freely again, the positioning of Fergus's arm never changes. I take the time here to stock up on my armor again since I'm hurt a little bit. So you can come up into the ammo depot and then make your way around this little walkway here, and there's going to be 100 pack of armor, and that'll be there if you ever need it, just sitting in the same spot. But you really want to make sure that you have full health and armor going into the Ausmercer at the end of the game, just to give yourself as much of an advantage as you can give yourself. So you go back up to the garage where the helicopter is stationed. And again, this never changes. It's never random. It's just in this place every single time. So you can use the laser craft work to blow open the crates there, make your way through the ductwork, and drop down, grab Fergus's arm there, and then drop down again. And this will put you into the room, like the locker room where Section F is at. And then you can make your way back up to Fergus and the others on the other side of the ship.
Nein, Herr Blaskowitsch. I know not of
Tin anchovies, 2 raw eggs, chili pepper.
And once you reattach Fergus's arm,
No chicken.
then you have made it to the last level of the game. And the last level, the Ausmercer, really isn't too bad. Most of it is fairly simple and straightforward. And as long as you do it in the correct way, it doesn't pose too much of a threat up until the very last section of the last boss fight. So once the level activates, there'll be like a little tiny cutscene here, and you'll get knocked down and see Anya running up into the ship. Just make sure you have your Sturmgeweers equipped, and then she'll lower the ramp so that you can climb up after her. You're going to get to the button up here and then stick behind the wall and lean out. There's going to be a drone floating up there right in front of you that you want to take out first. And then like 2 or 3 guys will come at you from either side of that pole from the room. And you just want to lean out here and take them out as effectively as possible. They hit me there and really hurt me. But there was enough armor in this section, both from the guys and just placed in the room, that you can pick up and kind of restock on. And they'll throw grenades at you. If you don't kill them fast enough, they'll toss grenades in. And if that happens, you just want to either... I don't try and toss them back in that section. I just kind of run back to the end of the room, and they won't hit you. But you do have to be aware that they'll throw grenades. So be prepared to either throw them back or avoid them somehow. And Anya will open up the door here. There's a charging station conveniently placed that you can refill that on, which is really important for the last boss fight, so you want to make sure that that's fully charged. And then there are going to be multiple guys in here, along with a big guy and a drone, that come in from the end of the hallway. So you just want to peek out from the wall section here and take out guys. I think they might have actually killed the drone there, which doesn't usually happen. A little bit of friendly fire, which helped out a little. But as long as the guys are dead and the big guy is down, then you can proceed through here. And you're going to attach the machine pistols again because you're going to go through the most of the rest of the level stealthily. This guy will always be running away from you for some reason, so just take him out. And then use the Battle Walker to get on the second level. And there's plenty of health and armor here to pick up if you need it as you make your way through the duct system. When you drop down here, there's going to be 3 guys up here that you want to take out as silently and quickly as possible. So make your way up and take out the first guy. The second guy is just going to be standing there, so you can take him out. The third guy is going to be behind that doorway, so you can kind of get his attention a little bit, enough just to where you can shoot him and take him out. And then you stock up on hatchets, whatever else you need to stock up on. And then use the Battle Walker again to get up to that next shaft. And there's going to be a few guys in here. You can take out the commander first thing and his dog, and then kill that guy down there. That guy happens to see me, which again doesn't usually happen, and it's unfortunate that it happened this time because usually you can just take them out without getting seen, and it's not a problem. The one guy was still left alive along with the big guy. There's also a guy up on the platform across from you on the left that you have to be careful of. And he's kind of difficult to see, but he's always up there. So you just want to be careful and make sure that everybody is down. And as long as the commander's already dead, you don't have to worry about anybody getting hurt, so that's why I equipped the Sturmgewehrs, so that I could take out the remaining enemies down here. And then you can drop down, and again I refill on armor from the big guy that I killed, just to make sure that I'm fully stocked up before I continue on. And then when you put in the code here, the door's going to open up. There are going to be 2 guys that are right there inside the doorway that you want to take out immediately when the door opens.
Well done, William. The port defense systems are offline.
So you take them out, and then you can hit that lever,
Way to reach our other objectives.
and you're going to go back into stealth mode here, so you get crouched before the door opens and make your way down the staircase here. You're going to hatchet throw the first guy, and then make your way across to the other side of the room. And there's a little walkway here. You can fall down there, so make sure that you're actually on the platform. You can hatchet throw him, and then there's going to be a guy looking at you at first, so you want to be making sure that he's turned around before you go through the doorway. Stealth kill the commander here, and then keep crouched and take out this guy. And then there's going to be a big guy down all the way at the end of the hallway. He shouldn't be alerted. He's looking out over the railing, and as long as you stay crouched here, you should just be able to walk past him, and he shouldn't be a problem. So you don't even worry about him. And then the commander's going to be around the corner here to the left. You just stealth kill him and make your way through that duct. Once you make it through this duct, you're going to sprint down to the end of the corridor here and back around the corner to the left where you set up against the wall, and you take out all these guys down this hallway along with that big guy down at the end. And it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. As long as you make your way down to that end of the corridor, and sometimes a guy will get on, there's like a big cannon halfway down the room, so that's why I'm coming back here to check and make sure that there's not a guy on this cannon before I proceed. And this is the section, it was really strange because that big guy who's looking out over the railing, who's not supposed to aggro, the first time I did Mein Leben this time around, I made it all the way to this section, and was walking behind him, and for whatever reason he saw me, and that has never happened before, and I don't know what activated him, but for whatever reason that guy happened to see me, but that shouldn't ever happen. He's not supposed to aggro at all as long as you stay crouched and stay behind him. So this time it went as planned, and you make your way into the elevator here, and I equipped the shock hammers because there's a guy, one of the big guys, who's going to jump up on top of the elevator shaft and rip open the ceiling, and you just pop him with the shock hammers and kill him immediately before he can hurt you.
It's on top of you!
So you take him out and then jump up, and you're going to shoot the fan and then jump over there and run through that duct system,
William, there's another shaft on the other side. You should be
and then equip the machine pistols to go back into stealth mode here.
to go there and shut down the star.
And to the right, there's going to be a guy walking on that platform down there, so you just want to wait for him to go past, and then you're going to drop down silently behind him so that you can take him out. So hatchet throw him, and then make your way stealthily around the left corner of the room here, and there's going to be another guy standing against the wall down here. So you want to hatchet throw him. And there's going to be a third guy a little bit to the right, and you can take him out. And then make your way down the staircase here to the left. You're going to use the battle walker to get up into that shaft. And this is where the last commander is. So you're going to come up here, take out the commander, and there are going to be two other soldiers that you're going to take out down here. And once they're dead, you can feel free to drop down and go ahead and activate the code here. And when you activate the code, the door will open up down there, and there will be a couple guys and one of those little robot dogs that come after you. So you want to set up behind this little shelf thing and just shoot these guys with the Sturmgeweers along with the robot dog who comes in after you. And it'll drop plenty of armor again in case you need armor and you get hit. And once these guys are dead, you can make your way down the hallway. You want to kind of come out and then drop back in, because that will activate two robots that will come after you here. Once those two robots are dead, you want to sprint up the stairs here and up the little crane, and you can avoid the big guys who drop down completely along with the other robots down there. So you want to do that quickly, but as long as those first two robots are dead, you're in good shape. And then make your way across the platform here. And then once you get towards the end of the platform, you want to drop down into stealth again and drop down here and keep moving, because the timing is really important. There's going to be a commander who's setting up, standing at the edge of this platform down here. And that big guy shouldn't see you as long as you're being in stealth. And once you get to this little cart thing, shoot this commander and run up as fast as you can and take out the other commander who's standing in the doorway and get up the ladder as quickly as possible. So the timing of that is just really important. Once you shoot and headshot that first commander, you're going to sprint as fast as you can up to that doorway and kill the second commander, and then you're good to go up the ladder. But they will be shooting you, so you have to move really quickly. And so once you get to the top of the staircase, there'll be a robot dog there, and you can go ahead and shoot him with the machine pistols. With those equipped, you don't have to worry about the other commander seeing or hearing you. You're far enough away that it's not going to activate anything, so you can go ahead and take him out. I stuck my body out there a little bit too long, and he hurt me quite a bit more than what I was expecting. So either way, you want to come back down here after you kill that thing and just wait for the alarm to get deactivated. And as long as I'm down here, I'm picking up whatever health and armor I can find to restock. And then there'll be that little audio cue on the signal detected. right there where it crackles, and you know that they're going back to their regular routine. So once that happens, you can make your way back up the ladder here and continue on. You're going to go back up to where you killed that robot dog. And the commander is going to come from the right up where that little bridge thing is that I'm looking at. So he makes a big loop kind of within that little area up there, and then he'll come out and he'll stand on that bridge. So when he comes out on there, you can take him out with the machine pistols and then take out that guy who's kind of over there on the platform. And then there's going to be 2 or 3 other guys along with the commander's dog and a big guy who's going to come out. And you can just kind of take them all out with the Sturmgeweers as they come out of that little doorway there. They'll just kind of funnel through. And eventually the big guy will kind of make his way through that doorway too. So take him down, and then once he's down, that's it. He's the last enemy of the game before you go into the last boss fight section. So you use the Battle Walker to get up on that bridge platform, and you're going to come over to the right side of that room and take the ladder up. And you're going to want to equip the shock hammers here. And then get prepared for the very last boss fight. And this is the very end of the game. So once you hit that button and you're on top of the Ausmercer, you're going to run around to the left. There are going to be 2 big guys who drop down. You're going to take them both out from the left. And then you're going to get into the middle part of these. And it's important to stay in the middle. You're not going to want to run out from those or run up on either side. Sometimes that guy comes and you just blast him. You shoot the guy on the right first and then the guy on the left, and then run up to the next platform, and it's going to be the same strategy. They're going to drop down, you're going to shoot the guy on the right, and then you're going to shoot the guy on the left. And then after they're dead, you're going to run back the way you came and to the left. And the strategy here, you take these guys out and then equip the laser craftwork. And you're going to keep the laser craftwork on your right and then keep the shock hammer on your left. And the strategy here is just to run around in a big circle. Basically in a big counterclockwise circle, and I made a big whiff there. But the other advantage to having the battery upgrade is that each of those big guys usually takes 2 shots. So if you hit them like you're supposed to, you can do it all without reloading. And since I missed, I'm going to have to reload. But you basically just want to run around in a big counterclockwise circle, keep them distracted, and supercharge your weapon while you're running around so that when you come out on top of the roof here, you can kind of look back and shoot them. And so now I'm out of ammo. I still have to hit that one guy one more time. And there's a charging station in that little room on the other side. So I'm going to run around here one more time to get that guy over on the other end of the Ausmercer, and then recharge super quick. And you only want to put enough in there. I was scared that they were going to kill me there. And then run back around and be able to hit him. And as soon as those 2 huge guys are dead, then you're all the way golden. And I'm going to switch back to dual wielding the shock hammers just so that I can take care of the last remaining regular soldiers here before I end the game. And I'm going to grab this armor just to be safe. Make sure that I have full health and armor while I take these guys down.
Can you feel it, General? You are the old
And then once it's safe, you can proceed up the ladder, and congratulations, you have successfully completed Mein Leben in Wolfenstein II. And there's just a very brief amount of gameplay here before the very end of the game. You're going to make your way all the way up this little tower thingy and come around here into this little room and activate the door. And there'll be a little cutscene that plays, and then there'll be a little bit more gameplay at the end, but that's about it. So this was my Mein Leben run, and the trick again is just to practice on Death Incarnate. Really make sure that you're getting a routine down on a lot of those problem areas, like the very beginning, the loft scene in New York, the courtroom scene, the very end boss fight. Just practice those over and over again, and then once you feel comfortable, then you can put it together into one big long Mein Leben run. And even though it seems really daunting and like an impossible task, it really becomes a doable situation once you get that rhythm and consistency and confidence down. It's really a doable thing. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I had a lot of fun making it and running back through this. And even after a year and a half, it was a lot of fun to revisit this game and do it again and make the video for everybody. So I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I had fun putting it together. If you enjoyed this video, please check out my website. It's jkreview.com. This is the first video that I'm posting up there, but I'm going to be working hard to put up more gaming videos and tips and pointers videos. And if there's anything you'd like to see specifically, please don't hesitate to let me know. Or if you just have a comment or suggestion, I'd love to hear about it. So until then, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.